Let's talk about the hydrogen tanks.
The tanks contained 14 pounds of hydrogen. It's about 6.3 kilograms. We had 3 tanks that are in the back of the vehicle, so you can easily see 2 of them here, and there's a third one that's gonna back in this region.
Hyundai and Hydrogen-Powered Cars is a relationship that would not surprise anyone who has been following Hyundai over the years.
It's powered by hydrogen, and that hydrogen comes from the tank into a fuel cell where the engine used to be, and that creates electricity that powers the electric motor.
The South Korean car manufacturer has been seriously pursuing hydrogen-powered vehicles over the previous few years. On the other hand, Tesla has been staying completely away from hydrogen cars and maintaining its focus on electric vehicles only. While Hyundai has released multiple statements in the past about its optimism regarding hydrogen cars, Tesla appears to be doing the opposite. It seems that Hyundai's latest development in the hydrogen car industry can prove alarming for Tesla. So, how has Hyundai progressed in the production and innovation of hydrogen vehicles, and are they really about to knock Tesla off their feet? Let's have a look in this video. There was a time when there was a lot of discussion about whether electric cars would ever become widespread. Many automakers also see hydrogen as the future vehicle alternative fuel. Several companies in particular projected future hydrogen fuel cell automobiles as having an advantage over battery electric vehicles. It turns out that Hyundai topped the list of such companies that were particularly enthusiastic about working on hydrogen cars. Currently, Hyundai works along with Kia to produce its vehicles, and the two companies have had similar ambitions when it comes to the hydrogen car market. The group, comprising of Hyundai Motor Co. and Kia Corp, has produced one fuel cell bus and a single fuel cell truck called the Exient Hyundai. Both of them are currently available on the market and go a long way in showing the company's progress in hydrogen cars progress. However, since Hyundai is of South Korean origin, their vehicles are much more popular in South Korea. Currently, there are 115 hydrogen buses on the road in South Korea, and since then, about 45 of the tracks have been in operation in Switzerland since last year. It was proven time and time again that hydrogen fuel cell vehicles were much less efficient than electric cars. The technology itself also proved to be way too expensive, and the infrastructure was never really coming as fast as it was perceived. Despite this and other problems, several automakers held strong. On the other hand, Hyundai looks to be one of the few ardent FCV supporters surviving today. A few years ago, a Hyundai executive referred to Tesla's electric cars as toys, at least according to reports by Teslarati. Hyundai does not build a toy like Tesla, according to the employee. The said employee also believed that battery-powered cars would not be able to go more than 150 kilometers on a single charge. However, a simple comparison between the efficiency and cost-effectiveness of hydrogen cars versus electric cars can go a long way in showing why Hyundai may be in trouble. For starters, there may be a fundamental flaw in the way hydrogen cars function. This makes them somewhat unappealing compared to an electric vehicle. Because energy must be transferred from wire to gas to wire in order to power an automobile, hydrogen is inefficient. Consider 100 watts of power generated by a renewable energy source like a wind turbine. That energy must be transformed into hydrogen, maybe by passing it through water, in order to power a fuel cell vehicle or a hydrogen car. In other words, because this is around 75% efficient, about a quarter of the power is automatically lost. Moreover, a further look into the entire hydrogen production process reveals even more flaws and inefficiencies. For example, the hydrogen must be compressed, refrigerated, and transferred to the hydrogen station, which is a 90% efficient operation. After entering the car, the hydrogen must be transformed into electricity, which is 60% efficient. Finally, the power utilized in the vehicle's motor is around 95% efficient. Only 38% of the initial power, 38 watts out of 100, is consumed altogether. While this explains the technicality behind the inefficiency of hydrogen cars, there is another upside to electric vehicles that make them much more user-friendly when compared to hydrogen cars. If the cost to fill up a hydrogen fuel cell is considered, it makes the entire concept look a little too expensive. Currently in the US, for instance, it costs about $16 per kilogram of hydrogen. In other words, filling up a 5-kilogram tank would cost around $75 US. For context, this would allow you to travel roughly 500 kilometers. While this may be a better range than most electric vehicles out there, it also means that the price paid per kilometer is still considerably higher than a traditional petrol car. On the other hand, the cost to fully charge an electric vehicle can vary depending on where it's charged and what sort of technology is used to charge the vehicle. Charging your Tesla or any other electric vehicle at home is the cheapest form of transportation one can obtain. For an electric vehicle, one would use about 180 kilowatt per hour during that time frame. Using the US household average from May 2021 of 14 cents per kilowatt hour, it would cost roughly $25 per month to continue charging an electric vehicle. Electric vehicles' charging costs appear negligible compared to the staggering $500 cost of refueling a fuel cell. That is not everything that puts an electric vehicle at a huge advantage over a hydrogen car. Another important factor to consider is the convenience for users when they wish to refuel their car. As far as electric vehicles are concerned, charging them is becoming more and more convenient with each passing day. The US Department of Energy data provides some interesting figures in that regard. Considering the United States, the country currently has a total of nearly 43,000 public electric vehicle charging stations, with more than 120,000 charging ports available. On the other hand, refueling your hydrogen car is not an easy or convenient job in most parts of the world, and even in the US. By 2018, the United States only had a total of 39 hydrogen fuel power stations across the entire country. Fast forward to 2020, there are only 43 retail stations available nationwide, and they too were mostly concentrated in California. Now that the inefficiencies of hydrogen cars are understandable, it can be interesting to see why Hyundai has continued to pursue it. When a firm such as Hyundai promotes technology for a long period and makes public statements about it, not to mention investing a significant sum of money, it is expected to follow through. Tessa Ratty, a former Hanwha investment and securities analyst, explains his position by claiming that Hyundai has invested far too much time and money in hydrogen fuel cell technology to abandon it now. According to Bloomberg, Song Young-jin, a 38-year-old South Korean sales manager, purchased a Nexo in March 2020. Almost immediately, he ran into difficulties. Despite the fact that South Korea has had the most success with fuel cell vehicles of any market, Nexo's owner stated he still had to drive roughly 40 miles every week to recharge the car. Maintenance charges were also fairly significant. He wants to sell the automobile as well, but its value on the second-hand market has plunged. Song Young-jin, the general manager at Hyundai in South Korea, intends to replace the Nexo with a battery electric vehicle. He revealed, "I liked the hydrogen car itself. It is quiet and charging takes just 5 minutes, faster than an electric car. But refueling stations are lacking and the maintenance costs for parts such as hydrogen tanks are huge, which is probably why they are so cheap in the used car market. Next time, I'll buy electric." It does appear that Hyundai will continue to pursue hydrogen officially. It is also demonstrating that it has what it takes to be a leader in the electric vehicle market. For example, Hyundai sold 6,400 Nexo fuel cell vehicles in South Korea from January to September 2021. During the same time period, it exported approximately 875. Meanwhile, the company sold 87,000 electric vehicles. These figures alone go a long way in showing why Hyundai may need to change its future plans. Considering the upsides and downsides of both electric vehicles and hydrogen cars, which technology do you think will define the future of humanity in the upcoming years? Do share your thoughts in the comments below.